Negative thinking, we've all been there. Those nagging doubts, the persistent anxiety, the way past mistakes seem to loop endlessly in your head like a broken record. At first, it feels small, even harmless. Maybe it's just a fleeting moment of self-criticism or irritation. But before you know it, it starts to snowball. It becomes a habit, a quiet, invisible force that begins shaping how you see yourself, how you experience life, and how you engage with the world around you. It creeps in like an unwelcome guest, taking over your mental space, draining your energy, and rewriting your internal dialogue with fear, doubt, and worry. And the worst part? You may not even notice how much control it's taken, until you feel completely stuck. But what if I told you that this cycle isn't unbreakable? That negative thinking, no matter how deeply rooted it feels, doesn't have to define you? What if you could take your mind back, thought by thought, belief by belief, and reclaim your sense of clarity, strength, and control? That's exactly what we're diving into today. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the foundational teachings of Stoic philosophy. This isn't about pretending everything's fine or slapping on a fake smile. This is about understanding how your mind works. It's about building real mental resilience by facing your thoughts head-on and choosing how you respond. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That single idea is at the heart of Stoic thinking. We can't always control what life throws at us, the missed opportunity, the criticism, the setback, but we can control how we interpret those moments. We control what we tell ourselves. And in that space, between what happens and how we respond, lies your greatest freedom. In this episode, we're going to explore practical, grounded strategies to help you break free from the grip of negative thinking. We'll look at how to shift your perspective, how to reframe challenges in a way that empowers you, and how to develop daily habits that build clarity, focus, and resilience. These aren't just lofty philosophical ideas. These are actionable tools you can start applying today to transform not just your mindset, but your life. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by doubt, paralyzed by fear, or frustrated by your own thoughts, you're not alone, and you're not powerless. This isn't just another lecture on positive thinking. This is a roadmap for taking back your mind, aligning your thoughts with your values, and stepping into a version of yourself that's clearer, calmer, and infinitely more powerful. Let's begin this journey together, a journey toward inner freedom, greater strength, and the clarity you've been searching for. And with that, we step into Lesson 1, the power of controlling your perceptions. Because the truth is, most negative thinking doesn't come from events themselves. It comes from how we choose to perceive them. The lens of perception. How your thoughts shape reality. When something goes wrong, someone criticizes you, a plan falls apart, or a challenge shows up uninvited, what's your first response? Most of the time, it's not just the event that causes distress. It's the story we immediately start telling ourselves about it. A narrative builds in our minds, often without us realizing it. And that story? It tends to lean negative. Marcus Aurelius, with the clarity only a Stoic emperor could offer, put it perfectly. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Let that sink in. The problem isn't the event, it's your interpretation of the event. And here's the empowering truth. That interpretation is something you can change. Think of your perception like a lens through which you view the world. If that lens is smudged with negativity, even the smallest inconvenience can feel enormous. A simple bump in the road becomes a mountain. A single comment becomes a personal attack. Let's make it real. Imagine a coworker gives you critical feedback on a project. Instantly, your thoughts spiral. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I'll never succeed. But stop for a moment. Is that really the truth? Or is it just your perception taking control? What if instead, you told yourself, this feedback is tough to hear, but it's a chance to improve. I can use this to grow. The event itself doesn't change, but your emotional response does. Your energy shifts from defeat to empowerment. The danger of distorted perceptions. The trouble is, these negative interpretations don't just visit once and leave. If left unchecked, they dig in, they settle, and over time, they become habits, patterns of thinking that affect not just how you view the moment, but how you view yourself, your relationships, and your place in the world. Suddenly, your mind isn't just reacting to one event. It's stuck in a loop of doubt and fear that repeats itself in every new challenge. And before long, your potential begins to shrink under the weight of those distorted thoughts. So how do we stop this from happening? How do we regain control? How to shift your perception? A Stoic blueprint. Step 1. Build awareness. It all begins with awareness. Pay close attention to what happens inside your mind when you're criticized, disappointed, or challenged. What are the first thoughts that surface? Are they helping you or hurting you? Start asking yourself, is this the full truth? Or just the story I'm telling myself in this moment? Step 2. Challenge the story. Once you become aware of the narrative, challenge it. Don't accept your first reaction as fact. Pause. Take a breath. Then ask, is there another way to view this situation? One that empowers me instead of weakening me? This simple question, asked with intention, can create powerful mental shifts. Step 3. Practice reframing. Finally, practice reframing. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on possibility instead of limitation. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, you could stew in frustration, or you could use that time to listen to an inspiring podcast. Reflect on your day, or simply breathe deeply and reset. One mindset leaves you tense. The other leaves you grounded. Controlling your perceptions isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing a way of thinking that supports you, rather than sabotages you. It's about realizing that while you can't always change what's happening, you can always change how you respond. And in that response lies your true power. Up next, we'll explore how to break the cycle of emotional reactivity, the knee-jerk responses that often leave us feeling regretful, drained, or out of control. Let's take the next step together. Lesson 2. Unraveling the roots of negative thinking. Negative thinking isn't just an irritating mental habit. It's far more complex than that. It's a deeply embedded pattern, one that often has roots stretching far back into your past. These roots might have formed through your upbringing, difficult experiences, cultural messages, or even old fears that, over time, you began to accept as truth. And the more they went unchallenged, the stronger they grew. To overcome negative thinking, you need to understand it. You need to ask not just what the thought is, but why it keeps showing up. Take a step back and really think about it. Most negative thoughts aren't random. They often emerge as a kind of mental defense mechanism. If you've faced rejection, failure, or harsh criticism before, your mind may develop a pattern of negativity to shield you. It's a way of bracing for disappointment, of trying to protect you from getting hurt again. But here's the twist. While this response may feel safe, it actually keeps you stuck. It limits your growth. It blocks your clarity. It convinces you that staying small is safer than risking progress. Your thoughts become your reality. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." It's a vivid image, isn't it? If you constantly allow your mind to dwell on fear, failure, and doubt, then your entire experience of life begins to take on those colors. Over time, you don't just have negative thoughts, you start to become them. Your perception of what's possible narrows. Your confidence shrinks. Your joy fades into anxiety and hesitation. Example: the voice of the past. Let's break this down with a real-life example. Imagine you're asked to give a presentation at work. Right away, that familiar voice in your head kicks in. You're going to mess this up. Everyone will judge you. Where is that voice coming from? Is it the truth? Or is it a recording from a moment in your past? Maybe years ago, you fumbled during a presentation. Maybe someone laughed. And now, that memory replays in your mind like a warning signal: don't try. Don't fail again. But here's the reality. That moment is gone. It's no longer here. And it doesn't define your present or your future. The only thing giving it power now is your attention. So how do you break the cycle? It starts with awareness. The next time a negative thought shows up, don't just accept it. Trace it back. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is it grounded in fact? Or is it just an old story I've been carrying around? Once you recognize the root, it's time to challenge it. If your fear is rooted in failure, remind yourself of the times you succeeded, even when you were afraid. If your thoughts are laced with self-doubt, ask, what proof do I have that this thought is true? What evidence contradicts it? More often than not, you'll find that the thought is built on assumptions, not reality. In the next section, we'll continue this journey by looking at what to do once you've recognized and challenged a negative pattern. Because awareness is only the beginning. What truly sets you free is learning how to replace those thoughts with something stronger. Let's keep going. Replace the thought. Reclaim the power. This isn't about faking a smile or repeating empty affirmations. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. Replacing negative thoughts isn't blind positivity. It's conscious mental alignment. It's about choosing thoughts that support your growth rather than sabotage it. For example, instead of the default, "I'll never be good enough," what if you gently told yourself, "I'm still learning, and every step forward matters"? That subtle shift doesn't deny the struggle. It reframes it. It gives your mind room to breathe and your confidence room to grow. Letting go of mental clutter. Think of this process like decluttering a messy closet. At first, the idea of sorting through everything feels overwhelming. You've held onto certain beliefs and mental patterns for so long that releasing them can feel unsettling. Maybe even a little scary. But the more you pull things out, examine them, and let go of what no longer serves you, the lighter you begin to feel. The same applies to your thoughts. Negative thinking might feel automatic, but it isn't permanent. It's a habit. And like all habits, it can be broken, with each thought you challenge, with every belief you replace. You loosen the grip that negativity has on your mind. And what you'll discover is a sense of mental freedom that's been waiting for you all along. This isn't you, it's just a pattern. The next time a negative thought creeps in, don't just accept it. Pause. Breathe. Remind yourself. This isn't who I am, it's just a pattern. And I have the power to change it. That one moment of awareness? That's the beginning of freedom. Because once you learn to separate yourself from your thoughts, you stop being their prisoner. You start becoming their master. And that's how you begin stepping into a clearer, stronger, more empowered version of yourself, not by force, but by intention. Lesson 3. Renewing your mind. Negative thinking is like a worn-out script that's been playing on repeat in your mind for years. After a while, those thoughts start to feel familiar, so familiar, in fact, that you begin to mistake them for truth. But here's the good news. Your brain is not fixed. It's incredibly adaptable. And just like it learned those negative patterns over time, it can also unlearn them. That process, the intentional act of replacing harmful thoughts with helpful ones, is what it truly means to renew your mind. Let's explore how that works. Noticing the thought before it takes over. Throughout your day, thousands of thoughts run through your mind, many of them on autopilot. But what happens when one of those thoughts spirals into negativity? Let's say you make a mistake. It could be something small, a missed deadline, a forgotten detail. Instantly, your mind jumps in. I always mess things up. I'm not good enough. Sound familiar? That automatic self-criticism might feel natural. But it's not truth, it's a habit. And the moment you notice it, that's your opportunity to change everything. The first step is awareness. Pause and ask yourself, is this thought actually true? Or am I just assuming the worst? Most of the time, you'll realize that these negative thoughts are built on fear, not fact. They're echoes of old wounds, not reflections of who you are today. Replace the story. Reclaim your power. Once you've identified a negative thought, challenge it. Replace it with something constructive, something rooted in reality and growth. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try, I'm still learning, and every step I take moves me forward. This shift might seem subtle, but over time, these new, empowering thoughts begin to take root. They become the new normal. And this isn't about pretending everything is easy. It's about choosing thoughts that help you move forward, rather than hold you back. The power of reframing. One of the most effective tools in this process is reframing. This simply means changing your perspective, not to distort reality, but to see it in a way that empowers you. Let's say you experience rejection, maybe from a job, a project, or even a personal goal. The old thought pattern might say, this proves I'm not good enough. But a reframed mindset offers this instead. This is a chance to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. The situation hasn't changed, but the meaning you give it has. And with that shift, you not only feel differently, you act differently. Training your brain with gratitude. Another powerful practice in renewing your mind is gratitude. When you regularly reflect on what you're thankful for, even the small things, you shift your attention away from what's missing or broken, and toward what's working and whole. Gratitude rewires your brain. It trains your focus to find the good, even in difficulty. It's like adjusting a lens to bring light into sharper focus. You begin to see the glass not as half empty, but brimming with potential. Clearing the mental fog. Think of renewing your mind like cleaning a foggy window. Over time, smudges and grime accumulate. They distort how you see yourself, others, and the world around you. But with each intentional thought, each act of reframing, each moment of gratitude, you wipe the glass a little clearer. You start to see life as it truly is, not just through the filter of your fears or past wounds, but through a lens of clarity and possibility. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to focus on what empowers you, instead of what weakens you. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling into negative thinking, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, I have the power to renew my thoughts. Each time you consciously choose a thought that uplifts rather than tears you down, you're not just changing your mindset, you're transforming your life. And with every new thought, you take another step toward becoming the best, most resilient version of yourself. Lesson 4. Surrounding yourself with positivity. Now that we've talked about the power of your inner voice, let's turn our attention outward, because your environment also plays a massive role in shaping your mindset. The people you're around, the spaces you spend time in, the energy you absorb, all of it matters. Let's explore how to create an environment that supports your growth. The power of your environment. Let's be real. When you're surrounded by positivity, encouragement, and calm, it's easier to feel uplifted, focused, and motivated. But when your environment is filled with criticism, chaos, or emotional tension, staying mentally strong becomes an uphill battle. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And while that quality is your responsibility, your surroundings matter more than you might think. The people you engage with, the energy in your spaces, even the content you consume daily, all of it feeds your mindset. Just like negativity is contagious, so is positivity. That's why curating your environment with intention is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining clarity, confidence, and emotional resilience. Start with the people around you. Take an honest look at your circle. Are the people closest to you supportive, compassionate, and growth-minded? Or do they tend to criticize, complain, and pull you down? This isn't about blaming others. It's about understanding the emotional influence they have. Your time and energy are limited. So ask yourself, am I spending it with people who lift me up, or people who wear me down? You don't have to cut everyone out of your life, but you can set boundaries. You can decide who gets the most access to your time, your energy, and your attention. If you have a friend who constantly complains, maybe limit how often you engage in those conversations, and instead, spend more time with people who encourage you, those who celebrate your wins, challenge you to grow, and remind you of your worth. Those are the relationships to lean into. Now, look at your physical environment. Your physical space has a direct impact on your mental clarity. A cluttered, chaotic environment can mirror and amplify stress. On the other hand, an organized, clean, and peaceful space can help you feel more calm, focused, and in control. Think about where you spend the most time: your bedroom, your office, your kitchen, even your car. Are these spaces helping you think clearly? Or do they make you feel overwhelmed and mentally scattered? Small changes can go a long way. Clear your desk. Add a plant to your room. Use soft lighting. Create a space that feels like a breath of fresh air. And remember, your digital environment counts too. Your phone, your social feeds, your inbox. Is what you're seeing daily lifting your mindset, or weighing it down? Be mindful of what you feed your mind. Let's not forget that your mental diet matters just as much as your physical one. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the shows you binge, the news you scroll through, they all influence your thoughts. If you're constantly filling your head with fear, conflict, gossip, or negativity, don't be surprised when your mindset starts to reflect that tension. But when you choose content that inspires you, educates you, challenges your thinking in a healthy way, that's when real growth starts to take root. Feed your mind with wisdom, with stories of resilience, with ideas that align with the person you're becoming, not the version of you that's trying to survive. Let's make it real for a moment. Imagine you've been spending your evenings watching dramatic or negative content online. You go to bed anxious, and you wake up already drained. But one night, you decide to switch things up. Instead of doom scrolling, you listen to a podcast on mindset, or you read a few pages of an uplifting book. You go to sleep feeling grounded, and you wake up with clarity. That's the difference a few intentional choices can make. In the next section, we'll dive even deeper into the power of intentional living by exploring the connection between daily habits and mental resilience. Because the environment is important, but what you do inside that environment, that's what truly shapes your future. Let's continue. We just talked about the importance of filtering your environment, from your physical space to the people you surround yourself with. But there's another kind of environment that quietly shapes your mindset every day: your digital space. Especially social media. And the truth is, many of us are letting it control us without even realizing it. Redesigning your digital environment. Picture this. You pick up your phone for a quick scroll. Just a few harmless minutes. But then you see someone posting pictures from a dreamy vacation. Another celebrating a huge career milestone, and suddenly, you feel like you're falling behind. You begin to compare. Doubt creeps in. And before you know it, your mood has taken a nosedive. Sound familiar? It's not because you're weak or lacking. It's the natural result of constantly consuming carefully curated snapshots of other people's lives, and mistaking them for reality. But you don't have to stay trapped in that cycle. Instead of sinking deeper into comparison and self-doubt, try something simple but powerful. Hit unfollow. Start removing the accounts that trigger negative feelings. Follow ones that uplift you, that fuel your passions, that remind you of your worth. Pages focused on personal growth, hobbies you enjoy, or messages of encouragement can make a world of difference. At first, the change might feel subtle. But give it time. Soon, you'll find that every time you open your feed, it feels lighter, more positive, more aligned with who you're becoming. Creating a positive environment, like planting a garden. Think of your mindset like a garden. You can't stop every storm, but you can choose the soil. You can choose what to plant, and how you care for it. You can't eliminate all negativity in life, but you can strengthen the parts of your world that help you thrive. Every small action counts, whether it's organizing your desk, taking a walk with someone who inspires you, or choosing to read something uplifting instead of doom scrolling. The next time you feel mentally drained or emotionally overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, is the environment I'm in helping me or hurting me? Then take just one small step to shift it in a better direction. Remember, surrounding yourself with positivity isn't just about feeling good. It's about building the foundation for a healthier, stronger, and more resilient mind. Up next, we'll dive into one of the most powerful Stoic practices, taking purposeful action. Because have you noticed? When you're stuck in inaction, your mind starts to race, replaying fears, doubts, and regrets. So how do we interrupt that loop and reclaim our power through action? Let's explore that in the next section. Small steps, big shifts. Imagine yourself at the foot of a towering hill. The longer you hesitate, the more intimidating it seems. But the moment you take just one step, no matter how small, something shifts. Suddenly, the climb becomes possible. That first move sets momentum into motion, and every step after reinforces your ability to keep going. Let's bring this down to something practical. Say you've been procrastinating on a project, afraid it won't turn out perfectly. The pressure to get it right becomes paralyzing. But what if instead, you broke it down into simple, doable steps? Write one sentence. Sketch out your ideas. Set a 10-minute timer. These actions may seem small, but they silence the voice of doubt. They tell your mind, I'm capable, and your energy begins to change. Align action with purpose. Another key principle of Stoic action is aligning what you do with what you deeply believe. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? And how can my daily choices reflect those values? When your actions are grounded in purpose, rather than fear or pressure, you naturally build confidence and resilience. For example, if kindness is one of your core values, then in a moment of self-doubt, do something kind for someone else. A small gesture, a word of support. These acts don't just help others. They restore your inner strength. In giving, we often find healing, progress over perfection. Taking action doesn't mean everything will go smoothly. You won't always avoid mistakes or obstacles. But it does mean you keep moving forward despite them. Stoics believed that life's difficulties weren't barriers, they were invitations to grow. Every time you act in the face of doubt, you prove to yourself, I am stronger than this thought. I can keep going. Think of action like lighting a candle in a dark room. The darkness doesn't vanish instantly, but the light gives you just enough clarity to take the next step. And each step you take makes the darkness fade just a little more. So the next time you feel trapped by negative thoughts, don't just sit with them. Ask yourself, what's one small step I can take right now? Then take it, whether it's sending that message, starting your workout, or simply getting out of bed. Action builds momentum. And momentum changes everything. Because in the end, it's not what you think about that shapes your life, it's what you do. And every step you take is a step away from negativity, and toward a life of purpose and strength. Coming up next, we'll uncover another powerful tool in your mental toolkit, the power of words. What you say to yourself, and to others, shapes the very foundation of your mindset. Let's dive in. Coming from the previous lesson on the power of taking action, it's important to recognize that even the smallest choices, like the words you use, can shape your mindset. Action starts in the mind, and your words are its most direct expression. Let's talk about the immense power of language, both in the conversations you have with others and in the quiet dialogue you carry within yourself. Words are not just sounds or symbols, they are powerful tools that shape how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you move through the world. When your thoughts are filled with negativity, that language becomes a weapon, reinforcing fear, doubt, and limitation. But when you intentionally choose words that are kind, empowering, and uplifting, you begin to create a mental environment that supports strength and resilience. Marcus Aurelius put it best: the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. But we can take this even further. What you say, both out loud and in your thoughts, determines the direction of your life. Your words aren't just descriptions of your reality, they shape it. They can either chain you to your limitations or set you free to grow beyond them. Let's begin with inner dialogue, the steady stream of thoughts whispering through your mind all day long. When you make a mistake, does your mind immediately say, "I'm such a failure," or "I always mess up"? These phrases might seem harmless, but over time, they chip away at your self-worth and reinforce a fixed identity of inadequacy. Instead, try shifting the narrative. If you stumble, say to yourself, "I'm still learning, and every mistake teaches me something." This reframing doesn't erase the challenge, but it allows you to meet it with compassion and possibility. Now think about how you speak to others. Words spoken in frustration, gossip, or constant complaining can create a cloud of negativity not just for you, but for everyone around you. On the flip side, speaking with gratitude, encouragement, and honesty can instantly lift the energy in a room. Let's say you're under pressure with a looming deadline. You could say, "I'm so stressed, I'll never finish this." But what if you tried? "This is tough, but I'm doing my best and making steady progress." That small shift changes how you feel, and how others respond to you. Imagine this scene. You've had a rough day at work. Everything seemed to go wrong, and you come home feeling defeated. Your first instinct might be to unload all the frustration with a long rant about how unfair or exhausting the day was. While venting can be helpful, dwelling on the negativity only prolongs your stress. Instead, try a simple reframe. "Today was rough, but it showed me what I need to focus on. I'll use this as fuel to grow." This kind of statement doesn't ignore your experience. It honors it while choosing a forward-focused mindset. One especially powerful tool to shift your internal language is the use of affirmations. These are short, intentional statements you repeat to reprogram your thinking. For instance, if self-doubt is a common challenge for you, try saying, "I am capable, I have overcome before, and I will again." Or, if you often feel overwhelmed, try, "I am grounded, I am focused, and I trust myself to handle what comes my way." Affirmations may feel awkward at first, especially if you're used to beating yourself up mentally. But with repetition, they start to replace the old negative scripts with a narrative rooted in belief, compassion, and strength. And remember, none of this is about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing words that build instead of break, that encourage rather than condemn. Language is like a mirror. It reflects what you believe about yourself. But it's also a window, letting you see what's possible beyond your current mindset. As we move forward, we'll explore how the habit of self-discipline can amplify all of this, helping you take control of your thoughts, behaviors, and life direction. Let's continue. Coming from our last reflection on the power of words and how they shape your reality, it's only natural to explore how these words, when repeated with intention, begin to shape your beliefs and ultimately, your emotional strength. Let's continue by diving into one of the most transformative practices, affirmations. Simple phrases like, "I am capable and strong," or "I am worthy of success," may seem small. But when spoken regularly, they begin to sink in and take root. Why? Because your focus shifts. Instead of constantly questioning your worth, you start reinforcing what you truly want to believe about yourself. It's like feeding your mind healthy fuel instead of the usual diet of doubt and fear. Another practice that works hand in hand with this is gratitude journaling. At the end of each day, take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be life-changing. It could be the warmth of the sun on your face, a text from a friend, or the comfort of your morning coffee. When you consistently reflect on the good, no matter how small, you train your brain to notice what's working in your life, gently rewiring it to move away from negative thought loops. Think of it this way: your words are like seeds. Every time you speak, whether out loud or in your thoughts, you're planting something. If those words are filled with fear, blame, or defeat, they become weeds, spreading fast and choking your mental clarity. But when your words are rooted in encouragement, truth, and growth, you're planting flowers. And with care, those flowers will bloom into strength, joy, and resilience. So here's something to try. The next time you catch yourself saying something negative, maybe, "I always mess this up," or "I'll never get it right," pause. Ask yourself, are these words helping me or hurting me? Then reframe. Choose something that aligns with the mindset you're working to build. It doesn't mean ignoring the challenge. It means shifting your posture toward it, with courage instead of defeat. Because ultimately, when you choose your words with intention, you're not just crafting better thoughts, you're crafting a better life. And that brings us to our next essential lesson, one that ties everything together: how to build emotional resilience in the face of life's inevitable storms. Let's explore what it truly means to be mentally unshaken, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Previously, we explored how choosing the right words can transform not just your thoughts, but your entire reality. And now, it's time to take that internal strength one step further, by learning how to stay steady when life throws you off balance. Let's talk about emotional resilience, the quiet, inner strength that allows you to adapt, recover, and keep moving forward even when things don't go as planned. Imagine this. You've been working tirelessly on a project. Everything seems on track. Then, at the very last moment, something unexpected derails it. What's your first instinct? Do you spiral into blame, frustration, or self-pity? Or do you pause, take a breath, and ask, what's my next best step? That simple shift, from reacting emotionally to focusing on a solution, is the heart of resilience. It's not about pretending nothing happened, but about regaining your footing and moving forward anyway. Another core aspect of emotional resilience is the ability to reframe setbacks. Instead of seeing failure as the end of the road, see it as feedback, a stepping stone on the path to something better. Take a moment to think. Have you ever wanted something deeply, like a promotion, and didn't get it? The sting of disappointment is real. But what if, instead of letting it define your worth, you asked yourself, what did I learn from this? How can I grow? That shift in thinking transforms failure into fuel for future success. But resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's also about how you treat yourself along the way. Self-compassion is essential. When you're hard on yourself, you add unnecessary weight to an already heavy moment. Think about how you'd treat a friend going through the same thing. You wouldn't criticize or belittle them. You'd remind them of their strengths. Tell them it's okay to feel discouraged. And encourage them to keep going. You deserve that same level of understanding and care. Acknowledge your emotions without judgment. Accept that struggling doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're human. Of course, building resilience takes time, but like a muscle, it strengthens with use. One powerful way to cultivate it is through mindfulness. Staying present in the moment gives you the space to respond rather than react. For instance, when you feel anger bubbling up or anxiety creeping in, pause. Take a deep breath. That moment of awareness is like an anchor in a storm. It gives you clarity and control, even when everything around you feels chaotic. Gratitude is another powerful tool. When life feels like too much, focusing on even the smallest blessings, a kind word, a warm meal, a quiet moment, can steady your heart. It won't make the storm disappear, but it will remind you that not everything is dark. Gratitude doesn't erase hardship, it balances it. Think of resilience like a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, and the branches bend, but the roots hold firm. That's what emotional resilience gives you. Roots that ground you through life's turbulence. With each challenge you overcome, you don't just survive, you evolve. You grow deeper, wiser, and more unshakable. So the next time life throws you a curveball, pause, remind yourself, this is hard, but I have the strength to get through it. And know this, resilience isn't just something you build, it's something you become. Now that we've tapped into the power of resilience, let's move forward into the next key. Mastering the art of stillness and finding clarity through solitude. Coming out of our exploration of emotional resilience, we now shift into a key that often works quietly behind the scenes, yet holds extraordinary power: the practice of gratitude. When resilience grounds you, gratitude uplifts you. Together, they form a powerful shield against negativity. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling you experience from time to time, it's a mindset. A deliberate shift in how you see the world. When life feels chaotic, overwhelming, or just plain unfair, it's easy to get trapped in the spiral of everything that's missing, broken, or not going your way. But gratitude invites you to look at the same picture with a different lens. Instead of asking, "Why isn't this better?" you begin to see, "What's already good here?" The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave them if they were not yours." That perspective flips our usual thinking on its head. It reminds us that so much of our dissatisfaction comes from taking what we already have for granted, while longing for things we may never need. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean denying that life can be difficult. It doesn't mean sugarcoating hardship or pretending that pain doesn't exist. What it does mean is choosing to focus, even briefly, on the small good that still remains, because it's always there, waiting to be seen. Take a moment from a tough workday. Maybe everything seems to be going wrong, and you're ready to throw in the towel. In that moment, gratitude could be simply recognizing the teammate who encouraged you, or even the fact that you have a job that challenges you to grow. That tiny shift of attention, away from frustration and toward appreciation, can break the cycle of negativity before it tightens its grip. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Gratitude literally retrains your brain to seek out the positive, Over time, your mental habits begin to default not to complaint, but to appreciation, not to scarcity, but to enough. So how do you bring this practice into your everyday life? One simple and powerful method is keeping a gratitude journal. Every evening, jot down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. In fact, the smallest details often carry the deepest impact, the warm light through your window, the first sip of coffee, the text from a friend that made you smile. These moments, written down, become anchors of positivity you can return to when your mindset begins to drift. Another beautiful expression of gratitude is speaking it, letting others know that they matter. Tell your friend, "I appreciate how you always listen." Tell a coworker, "Thanks for having my back today." These small words have a big ripple effect. They not only lift someone else's spirit, but they also reinforce the gratitude within you. So the next time you feel negativity creeping in, pause. Ask yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? Even if it's something small. Especially if it's something small. Because it's through these quiet acknowledgments that your mindset shifts, your perspective lifts, and your emotional clarity returns. Up next, let's explore one of the most empowering Stoic practices of all, embracing solitude not as isolation, but as a path to wisdom, clarity, and inner peace. Continuing from the power of gratitude, we now shift into a truth that many resist, but once accepted, becomes one of the most liberating ideas you'll ever embrace: impermanence. Gratitude teaches us to appreciate what we have. Impermanence teaches us to let go. Together, they offer a deeper peace, one that isn't shaken by every change life throws our way. Let's bring this idea to life with a simple, everyday scenario. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an appointment. Frustration bubbles up. The stress feels automatic. But in that moment, you pause, you take a breath, and instead of spiraling, you shift your attention. Maybe you're grateful for the chance to catch up on your favorite podcast. Maybe you appreciate the fact that you're safe, in a car that works, with time to think. Will that change the traffic? No, but it changes you. It softens the moment, reduces your stress, and rewrites your internal narrative. That's the magic of gratitude. It puts challenges into perspective. So the next time you're facing a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Is there something here, no matter how small, that I can appreciate? Maybe it's not the outcome, but the strength you're building in the process. Every silver lining you find chips away at negativity's power over your mind. Think of gratitude like lighting a candle in a dark room. It doesn't erase the darkness entirely, but it offers enough light to see where you're going. The more candles you light, those moments of appreciation, the brighter your world becomes. And with that brightness, you gain clarity, calm, and peace even in life's chaos. So the next time your thoughts begin to spiral, stop and ask, what can I be grateful for right now? You'll be surprised how even the toughest days still hold quiet blessings. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a practice, a deliberate choice, a mental habit that, when repeated, shapes your inner world, and in that world, positivity, resilience, and fulfillment can thrive. Now, as we move deeper into the Stoic mindset, let's talk about something most of us resist, but all of us face: change. Lesson 9 is about embracing impermanence, not with fear, but with grace. Previously, We explored how embracing impermanence can bring peace and freedom, reminding us that nothing lasts forever. Not even our struggles. That awareness grounds us in the present and opens the door to healing. Now, let's deepen that wisdom and bring it into our everyday mindset. Imagine a flower in bloom. Its colors are vibrant, its scent delicate, yet, you know it won't last forever. Still, you don't mourn its fading while you look at it. You simply admire it for what it is. Right now, life is just like that. Every joy, every difficulty, every relationship, it all comes and goes. And that's precisely what makes each moment meaningful. So how does this shift in thinking help us when life gets hard? The next time you're facing a difficult situation, pause and remind yourself, "This too shall pass." That phrase isn't just a cliché, it's a lifeline. Pain, frustration, and hardship are all temporary. Just as joy fades, so do the storms. This thought alone can bring you a sense of calm right in the middle of chaos. Let's take a real example. Imagine you've had a painful falling out with a close friend. The hurt feels overwhelming, the situation unbearable. But when you embrace impermanence, you recognize that this tension isn't permanent. Feelings change, relationships evolve, and with time, healing becomes not only possible but natural. Whether the friendship is repaired or a new path unfolds, the intensity of this moment will pass. Another powerful practice? Gratitude for the now. Instead of fearing what might be lost, learn to savor what you currently have. If you're sharing a meal with loved ones, or simply enjoying a quiet moment alone, take it in fully. Let the knowledge that nothing lasts forever deepen your appreciation for it. That's not sadness, it's sacred. Embracing impermanence also helps dissolve the need for perfection. When you truly understand that every success, every mistake, every high and low is temporary, you stop fearing outcomes. You give yourself permission to try, to fail, to learn, and to grow. Nothing you do defines you forever. Every moment is just that, a moment. Picture impermanence like a flowing river. The water moves constantly, never staying the same. If you try to grab and hold it, it slips through your fingers. But if you let it flow, you start to see its beauty. You move with it instead of against it. You adapt. So the next time you find yourself caught in regret, clinging to the past, or fearing what lies ahead, pause and breathe. Say to yourself, everything changes. This moment is temporary. Let that truth wash over you. Not as sorrow, but as liberation. When you stop resisting change, you open the door to peace, to acceptance, and to incredible personal growth. And now, as we come to our final lesson, we explore something deeper. How to replace drifting and confusion with clarity and direction. Let's talk about building a purpose-driven life. Previously, we explored how embracing impermanence helps us stay grounded in the present. Letting go of fear and clinging. That awareness leads to peace, but to sustain that peace through life's chaos, we need something even deeper, a clear sense of direction. And that's where purpose comes in. When you don't have a clear purpose, it's easy to feel adrift. You might be constantly busy, yet strangely unfulfilled. You may hustle through your days, hitting goals and checking boxes, but still feel like something's missing. Why? Because without purpose, even hard work can start to feel meaningless. Purpose is more than just having goals. It's a compass. It guides your thoughts, decisions, and actions. It gives your life shape. clarity, and meaning. It keeps you grounded when the world feels overwhelming. Marcus Aurelius once said, "People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse are wasting their time, even when hard at work." This timeless reminder teaches us that simply staying busy isn't the same as living meaningfully. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It could be about being a supportive parent, creating art that speaks to others, helping your community, or simply learning and evolving each day. What matters is that it aligns with your values, lights a spark within you, and gives you a reason to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. So how do you find this kind of purpose? It starts with asking yourself honest, soul-searching questions. What makes me feel most alive? What do I want to contribute to the world? What aligns with my values and strengths? You're not looking for a perfect answer, you're looking for truth. And often, that truth lives in the quiet, simple things you care deeply about. Let's say your purpose is to build a business, follow a creative dream, or live a healthier life. There will absolutely be challenges, moments when doubt creeps in or progress feels slow. But when you're rooted in a clear why, those moments don't stop you. They fuel you. That purpose becomes your anchor. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Purpose also helps you filter out distractions. When you're clear on your values, you stop chasing what doesn't serve you. If your purpose is deep connection, you might choose heartfelt conversations over mindless scrolling. If it's growth, you'll trade fleeting pleasures for habits that shape your future. And here's the real power. Purpose reshapes your relationship with negativity. Setbacks no longer feel like proof of failure. They become part of the path. Think of it this way. If you're hiking a mountain you love, you expect some steep climbs. But you keep going because you believe in where you're headed. Next, we'll explore how to protect that purpose and inner clarity in a noisy world, by embracing the quiet strength of solitude. Continuing from where we left off, when you're rooted in purpose, even the toughest setbacks become easier to navigate. That clarity doesn't mean you'll never falter, but it does mean you'll always have a reason to get back up. Let's say you're working toward a fitness goal and you happen to miss a workout. In the past, maybe that would have triggered a wave of self-criticism. But now, with purpose as your anchor, you can see that one-off day doesn't define your entire journey. Instead of spiraling, you pause and remind yourself, this is just a moment. I'm still on the path. Think of purpose like a lighthouse in the stormy seas of life. When the waters get rough and waves of doubt crash in, that steady light keeps you focused. Even when negativity tries to cloud your vision, your purpose cuts through the fog, reminding you what matters most. It keeps you grounded, centered, and moving forward with intention. So how do you build a purpose-driven life? Start small. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Begin by reflecting on your core values. What truly matters to you? Then, set goals that align with those values. Ask yourself daily, are my actions moving me closer to the life I want to live? Remember, purpose isn't a finish line. It's not something you achieve once and check off a list. It's a living, breathing practice that evolves as you grow. And that evolution? That's part of its beauty. Each stage of your life might bring a new purpose, a deeper meaning, or a refined direction. Let it unfold naturally. The next time you feel overwhelmed by negative thoughts or unsure of your path, take a moment to pause and ask, what truly matters to me right now? How can I align today's actions with that clarity? By focusing on purpose, you don't just quiet the mental noise, you create a life that's rich, meaningful, and unmistakably yours. And that brings us full circle. As we've explored in this journey, negative thinking isn't something you're doomed to live with. It's not some unchangeable part of who you are. It's a habit, a pattern, that you have the power to break. Through awareness, resilience, gratitude, and purpose-driven action, you can transform your inner world. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless Stoic wisdom is your guiding light. No matter what you face, you get to choose your response. You hold the strength to rise above the noise of negativity and build a life rooted in clarity, peace, and purpose. So, as you move forward, take a moment to reflect. What lesson in this video resonated with you the most? What's one small change you can make today? Whether it's catching a negative thought, practicing daily gratitude, or setting boundaries to protect your energy? Because here's the truth: the path to mastering your mind isn't about being perfect. It's about making steady, intentional progress. And if this episode spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message, someone who's ready to take back their power, just like you. And if this message has resonated with you, chances are someone else in your life might benefit from it too. So why not share it? Let's spread this wisdom far and wide. Let's help more people break free from negativity and build stronger, more resilient minds. Because sometimes, all it takes is a single insight to spark lasting change. And now, before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thought, one lesson, or one moment from this video that really stuck with you? What will you carry forward from today? Take a second and drop it in the comments below. Not only does sharing help solidify your own growth, but your insight could also inspire someone else who's on the same path. Thank you, truly, for joining me on this journey. Remember, the power to transform your thoughts, the ability to shift your mindset, the strength to build a life of clarity, peace, and purpose, it's already within you. You don't have to look outside yourself. You simply need to believe in your ability to choose differently, to respond rather than react, and to grow through what you go through. Until next time, stay mindful, stay intentional, and above all, stay focused on becoming the strongest, clearest, most authentic version of yourself. You're not just capable, you're ready. You've got this.